Oh my god, it's finally out. Oh. Oh no. Hello boys and girls, welcome back. So today we are going to be fitting a Revo Short Shifter. So the main reason that you'd want to do this is so that the throw when changing gears is a lot shorter. Currently I have an Mjc Short Shifter, I believe what it's called, and I'll show you what that kind of looks like, but all it is you bolt it on top of this and makes the throw shorter. It was only about £50. It's worth it if, you know, you just want to get the short shifter, but ideally you'd want to get the whole unit like this. So I got this from Tegua. I can't remember how much it was. I think it was about £100. But what I'll be doing is installing this, but as I've had the previous short shifter in, it comes with these metal, I don't know what they're called, the things that hold it in. But when you buy it from Tegua, it comes with the OEM rubber ones. So what I'll be doing is taking these rubber ones out and I'll be installing it with the metal ones that are already in it in the old unit. So let's get on with it. So what I'll also be doing is writing down how much throw in centimeters, I believe. Yeah, in centimeters. I'll be writing down how much throw, or the difference in throw without the short shifter, with the Mjc that I have in there at the moment, and also once I get the new short shifter in. I can't imagine that there'll be much difference between the Mjc and the actual unit, but it's better to have the whole unit as a short shifter, not just that little metal bit. Also, another thing as well is, as this shifter in here is about 14 years old, or however many years old the car is, there is also a lot of play in the gear shift. So as you can see, there's this movement here, and that's just in neutral. If you put it into gear, you still have all of that play as well, which should go away with the short shifter. So if you want to know how to exactly do this, I've got another video where I was wrapping the whole console and I went into a bit of a more in-depth with how to actually do this. But yeah, I'll probably just speed this up just so you can kind of get where I'm going. So this is what it's looked like with it all off. So as you can see, it looks very similar to this. It just sits in place like that. But as you can see, what I was talking about before is these rubber grommets here. This is what is normally on when you buy the car OEM. But with the short shifter, the MV or Mjc one, you have these two, or these metal things, which go one on this side and one on the other side. So this is the Mjc Short Shifter, and as you can see, it looks awful as I couldn't screw this one in properly as it doesn't fit. But yeah, so it's held on by 2 hex screws, I believe, 2 there and 2 at the bottom. And the way it shifts gear is it's held on by these little notches right here. This is probably what it looks like is better. This is probably better to look at. So those little clips just slip on that, and when you move the gear shift, they move as well. So you have to take those 2 off, and you have to take all these clips off and those 4 bolts, and it can pull out. Now I'm hoping I don't have to pull this out because this is in nicely and I want to leave it like that. So the bolts that hold on the short shifter are 14.5 hex. So I will take those off now. But first I'll take off the little prongs at the back here, which I'm probably guessing you can't see. But you just push off of them and they'll pop out. So that's that one free, as you can see. And now it's time to do the other one. You pull on the 2 clips like that, and then it just pops out. Like that. It's popped out. So now this is completely free. and that's one side of it off. So now we've got the struggle of taking this off, and this is very tight around here, as you can tell, because it's been bent. So I don't know how I'm gonna get this off. I might have to get a hammer or something. So yeah, to get these 2 bolts I have to lift the center console back, or well, just up a bit anyway. Even with a bar going at the end of the ratchet, it still won't come out, so I'm gonna have to drop the dash, oh not the dash, the glove compartment, unscrew that bolt, unscrew these 2 bolts right here, and then just lift it up and out ever so slightly. So I'll meet you back once I've done that. Right, so I've taken the dash out now, and I've got way more room to maneuver and to do stuff. So to get those bolts off, you need a 12mm, which I cannot find. Oh, there we go. So you've got your 12mm right here. I'm gonna have to crack these off off camera. But I need to extend it more. Now what I need to be careful of is to make sure that these metal bits on the other side don't fall. So those are the metal things that I was talking about. That's one side, and then the other side, as you can see, is right there. So I'm going to actually try and get this rag under here. Oh no! Found it. So what I found out was you can actually gain access to the bottom of it by pulling out the 2 side bits down here. But I pulled the driver's side out one a bit too far, and now it's got a crack down the middle, but I'll show you that in a second. So now, knowing that I can get the bolts out, I have more confidence in doing this. And that's the final pair. So now I think you should just be able to pull this out, I think. So there is something else that you have to do. At the back of both this short shifter and the OEM one, there are these 2 notches back here, and that is what the shifter cable slide into. So I think you just need to pull them out the opposite way. This can be a bit tricky because it's in an awkward position. Right, so I couldn't record this because I've honestly been at this for about 45 minutes on this one bit. But basically, as you can see, there's 2 holes. There's 2 holes right there. So just at the bottom of the screen there, where this little white clip is, that thing that it's attached to is in that little semicircle on the side. What you need to do is turn them anti-clockwise, and then they come out of this position. But as you can see, you have little to no room to work with. And that's the other one down there. To show you on the short shifter, it's these circular bits right there, and you have to turn them anti-clockwise, and then they kind of fall out. But you need so much leverage to do this because they literally do a whole 180. But yeah, I had to put these back in, so I actually had to stabilize it. But now I can take these out, and hopefully the whole thing will just pop out now. But yeah, as you can tell, I'm not very happy. And they also was taking out all of this because everything was falling, and then I did a lovely nice crack down there, so great fun. Oh my god, it's finally out. Oh, so if you're doing the same thing as me and getting these out, best thing to do is get an 8mm socket which goes around that ring, and it kind of half pushes it out, which pushes it out like that, and then you can just put your fingers around the rubber part and pull it out. So currently staring down where the shifter is going to be. The problem again is going to be putting these socket things into the holes of the new shifter. Oh my god, I've finally done it. That was the most finickiest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I was watching so many YouTube videos and they were all useless at telling you how to do it. Not gonna lie, this probably won't be as good because putting those cables back in is just so long. But I'm gonna try and explain it as best as I can. So when taking them out, you need to turn them anti-clockwise, and then there's a little notch that comes out that it pulls up on, and you can slide it out. Now on all videos it says that you can just slide them in, which isn't the case. You have to turn them back anti-clockwise again, because when they come out they snap back into their original position. You have to turn them anti-clockwise and then push them in, and then yeah, they go again back to their normal position. So everyone was saying that you can do it from, well, they're either saying that you can do it from the top where the gear shifter is, or any other person has brought out the whole center console, which is just, well, that's what happens when you take out the center console, you crack that. But I found an easier way, well, it's still difficult, but an easier way of getting to it. So down here you have this bit of trim right here, so you just take that off and you can put your arm in up there, and then what happens is, I don't know if you can see it, but if you reach all the way down you can grab the bottom half of the cables, and then you can turn them from the bottom and then kind of push them in. But again, it's very difficult to do because you can pin them or turn them and put them into the like half correct position, then they get stuck. And then from the top I just used the little grooves that are there to push it in with the screwdriver. So now it's time to just put these 4 bolts in, and that's them all in now. So now we get our trusty 12mm and we just tighten them all up. Again, always go crisscross so you get an even, so it's all put down evenly. There we go, it's all secure now. And now it's time to put the top of the dash back in. Right, so I've got it all back together, all nice and flush, and I didn't ruin any of the wrap. So I'm just going to test now what if I can go into all gears. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and reverse. And I can hear all the clicks at the front, so I know that it's actually going into gear, but I'm going to take it for a drive anyway. So now it's just time to put all of this mess away right here. Fun. So I just measured what the throw was before I left, and it's exactly the same as what it was before. It was only 3 centimeters each way and 6 centimeters from 3rd to 4th. So what I'm going to do now is go for a drive. I'm going to record on my phone so I can actually put it up on a stand, and then I'm going to switch it around to a GoPro and show you from my point of view. So let's see how we get on. So I've just come home from my drive. So what do I think of the short shifter? So personally, I think if you've got the MJC, you should probably stick with it because the throw is exactly the same. If you're doing the mod for getting rid of the play in the gear shift, it's good. But the hassle that you have to go to get it out all depends on getting those cables out. That is the thing that can take this job half an hour to 2 hours. Unfortunately, I was getting towards the 2-hour mark. Another thing that I noticed while driving was the gear shift is now, the gear shifter is just a little bit lower than what it previously was. So say for example it came out at an angle like that, it's now out here. So it's still exactly the same, but it's just a little bit further. So whenever I'm in either 3rd, 4th or 5th gear, sometimes I think I'm in the gear below it. So if I'm in gear 1, I think I'm in gear 2 because it's that bit lower. And when I'm trying to change from 2, 4 or 6 up, it's you know, muscle memory has me going to the right part of where I think it should be, but it's actually a bit lower. Again, that's just something that you're going to have to slowly get used to. But to be honest, it's a good mod. Is it worth 100 and 110 pounds? If you got the MJC, not really, but it's a good mod to have if you want to and you've got the time to do it. But I'm happy with it, so I'm just going to keep it really. Yeah, thank you guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.